Charity, lovely to meet you.
You
And
too.
I am so chuffed to see that The Great is back for a third season, because it is such fun and you all seem to enjoy working on it. And let's face it, you've got some pretty juicy characters to play as well. So I wondered how you reacted when you heard that there was going to be a third season.
I was so happy. I was so happy. I love working with this cast, and there's just so much in it to sort of mine in terms of comedy, but also, you know, the kind of undertones in it I find really interesting. The way that the writing kind of reveals stuff about power and corruption and humanity and relationships. They're quite astute observations, despite the fact that they're delivered to you very comically and sometimes very kind of brusquely. And it doesn't hold back. It's
It doesn't. It
really kind of goes there. It's confrontational actually as a piece, which I really enjoy. There's a kind of no holds bars quality to it.
Did you expect it to go into a third season? Do you think it would last that long? And did you think your character, Georgina, would last that long? Because let's face it, the Russian court is kind of dangerous.
In this, and obviously it's an imagined version of the past. We don't really stick too seriously to the details. I will say I was hopeful that we would have like a proper run at a TV series. I felt confident at the beginning that certainly it's something that I would want to watch. Helen Mirren had just done a mini series about Catherine the Great, and tackled the last period of her life very successfully, fantastically interesting. And I remember watching it thinking, I want to know much more about this. And we're a really interesting kind of composite piece in a way, because we do it really differently. And I would say we're more of a kind of flavor of Catherine than we are the real thing. Nothing's the real thing. It's all artistic and subjective decision when it comes to kind of filmmaking, as we all know. But the world that Tony's created is just a fun one to live and play in, and the comedy of the writing, the structure and the solidity of the writing is just so enjoyable to do. So there's a lot of laughs on set. There's a lot of gasps whenever we have a read through. My God, this is happening. That character's going to do what? And it's just a very kind of engaging show, which I really enjoy. So I would say I was hopeful that it would have gone for a long time, and I wasn't surprised that it came back, because I know that I know the reaction from the people that I meet on the street when they've seen it. You know, people can be very, very into the show, so that's cool.
Yeah. So Georgina herself, I mean, how do you think she's managed to survive in that sort of environment? And do you think she's in for an even trickier time in this new season?
She's definitely in for a tricky time in season 3. When we open, she's at, I would say, the riskiest point yet that she's had in the show and in her life. I think she certainly feels like she might not make it past the first episode, and she has to act on that slight feeling of desperation and move very quickly to strategize and form a new plan and try to ally with Catherine, as she has been doing in a surface way. So you see somebody that has felt, I feel with Georgina that she has, previous to the beginning of the whole of the series, of the whole of the show, The Great, the character has worked very, very hard to get into that position of confidence at court, into this fantastic, for her, in her perspective, fantastic setup with having a relationship with the emperor and being married in this kind of throuple that she copes very well with, much better than her husband, and enjoys. And it's been really interesting to play that as an idea, a woman that's actually in control of that and is manipulating the situation to her own end. We can see academically from the wider view that she's a victim of circumstance and that there might be a different or better way for her, but she doesn't see that. She thinks that she's superior and in a fantastic position, and she doesn't want that to be changed, and that's what she fights for most of the series. But now we get to season 3 and everything is turned on its head, and she's not in that position anymore, and she's changed what she wants. She's been affected by Catherine, whether she likes it or not. So you see a struggle both internally, ideologically with Georgina, as she fights for her place, and maybe then for more than her place as we go through season 3.
So do you think she actually really cares about either her husband or Peter?
Yeah.
Or is it more about her?
No, I think she does really care about them, but I think she also has an innate need to survive. And I think there's something in her background that means that she's frightened of losing that position. She's not going to give it all up for love. She wants to stay alive, and she knows that that's at risk. And so she can be cruel and dismissive. But I think that doesn't, the two things can exist at the same time. She can be in love with her husband or love her husband, and she can be in love and lust with Peter at the same time. And, you know, she that doesn't mean that she's not going to ditch them if something better comes along. That's the kind of person that she is.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about having a laugh on set. I wondered if there was a particular moment from making this particular season that actually sticks in your head as being so funny. And I think I've heard something about a scene in a bath.
Oh, I have trouble with bath scenes. So that they in this, because so in Georgina and Gregor's bedroom, which has been the same set for the whole show. I mean, it's been slightly redecorated and whatnot, but they basically, Tony's view of them is that they live in this kind of bohemian room, and people come in and out, and they, you know, Peter can come in and out, and it's like a hosting room really, as well as their own personal bedroom with all their stuff in it. And they have this lovely big bath at the end that's a permanent fixture, and it's, you know, to relax in, to muse in, to do whatever you want in. And there have been a few scenes in there alone and with other people. And what I can tell you is that bath is very deep, and the show is not particularly exploitative, which is great for us. We don't have to be naked all the time. You don't have to see our boobs floating in the water. They put emollient in the water so that you don't see everything, so that it's about what you're talking about. So, okay, why are you gasping? Is that because you have seen things in it?
No, I'm thinking emollient. Is that not going to make it a bit slippy?
Yes, exactly. So it looks fantastic. It looks really murky, but it doesn't look obviously murky. You know, it means you can completely relax. By the way, it smells really nice. The water's also warm. Everybody looks after you. It's fantastic. The only problem is that you just, if you're not careful, you really slip underneath, even if there's another person there. And imagine being in a bath with another actor, and you're like, the truth of it is, people think it's really sexy. The truth of it is, you're just trying to stay above the water and not fall in, try and have your head at the right place of the camera. So what I have tended to do is to basically get sandbagged up in the bath so that I've got something to put my foot on. I've got one foot here, I've got my hand here. I'm just trying to basically stay in the same place and not float around. And those sandbags emit at various unwanted points large bubbles, and I was constantly getting it in the neck from the crew, because it always seemed to be after I'd say a really serious line, and then it would just be like bubble bubble bubble. No, absolutely not. It's a nightmare.
You've completely destroyed the illusion now.
Sorry, that's the truth. That's the truth of everything like that. There's always something trying to hold on to or not fall off of.
So what do you think the chances are of a 4th season? And would you be up for it? Silly question, probably.
Imagine if I was like, no, I would not do it. No, I'd love to do it. I'd absolutely love to do it. And I hope, you know, I don't see why they wouldn't. I think it's great. I think, you know, it's Elle is just amazing as Catherine the Great, and there's so much more to explore. We know that she was on the throne for 4 or 5 decades. She, you know, I think that there's just much more to find within these kind of power dynamics. And I very selfishly would absolutely love to do it again, because I thoroughly enjoy the job, and I'm very hopeful that it will.
Fingers crossed. It's been lovely to talk to you, Charity. Really appreciate your time, and like I say, love the show. So bring it on.
I love to, Adam.
I will do. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey you guys!
Hey you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey you guys!
Hey you guys!